Silent. White. Unpredictable. Primordial. Captivating.
Our Antarctica voyage in January 2019 starts in Ushuaia, the southernmost city of Argentina, and then heads across to the windswept and wild islands of the Falklands. From there you'll go across to South Georgia, synonymous with Shackleton and its massive penguin colonies, and then you head down to the absolute highlight, which is the Antarctic Peninsula itself. Why voyage with steps? The ship is quite luxurious, but she's still very much expeditionary. Coming back to your cabin, be nice and warm, nice and spacious, they're all big suites. One of the best things to do is be out on the deck or up on the bridge when you're transiting between destinations. The more you look, the more you will see. This voyage is going to be beyond the ordinary. It's far more than just a classic expedition. We have our own specialist staff on board, as well as all the full expedition leaders who've all travelled down to Antarctica. Our own specialist guides include Sue Flood, who's a wildlife photographer. And then we've got Stephen Venables, who knows all about the history of Shackleton and will not only be able to tell you about Shackleton, but also his expedition where he retraced Shackleton's steps. And finally, we've got Wade Davis, an anthropologist, biologist and adventurer. So we're adding a bit extra to what you would get on any normal voyage down to Antarctica. The absolute height of the season is January, February time. Everything will be at its absolute peak of activity. This voyage will give you a huge diversity of activities, walking across the tussock grass of the Falkland Islands. A few days later you might be at sea watching albatross soar around the vessel, and then landing at your first huge penguin colony in South Georgia. It's a trip for everybody, so there's Zodiac cruises, so if you want to just take it easy you can Zodiac and watch penguins porpoising, go through the icebergs, along the glacier front. And then there's opportunities for landings. You can go walk around some of the old historic whaling sites. Kayaking is another option if you really want to get down to water level, a little bit lower, self-propelled, and you can pootle around the bays. I've certainly had whales diving underneath my kayak, and because the water's so crystal clear you can just watch them disappear underneath you, which is phenomenal. There's huge scenery difference between the three very distinct areas. You've got the windswept wild beaches, green tussock grass of the Falkland Islands, and then as you go to South Georgia, much more high peaks, big snow-capped mountains. And then when you get to Antarctica, you get your huge white vistas, huge glaciers and icebergs, often the size of stadiums. The biggest iceberg I've seen was 6.5 nautical miles long. Our Antarctica voyage is all about experiencing Antarctica. Although you're on a very, very comfortable ship, it's all about being off the ship, getting on the ground, really getting to see the destination up close and personal. There's opportunities to go walking, whether it's across the highlands of the Falklands, along the beaches of South Georgia, which are teeming with wildlife, or whether it's visiting perhaps one of the old research stations. In Antarctica, there's just something for everybody. So I would say you're probably only ever going to go to Antarctica once. And if you're going to go once, then you really want to do everything in your first trip, which is the perfect combination of Antarctica, the Falklands and South Georgia. But if you're only ever going to do it once, then do it properly.
I think it's one of the last outposts in the world which still remains utterly pure and untampered by by human encroachment. The wildlife is fascinating, but landing on Antarctic as well is an incredible experience, and knowing that so few people have actually been there and what a vast, enormous area it is. I think when you leave Antarctic and you realise you've left nothing behind, truly in that old adage of leave nothing but footprints, that is exactly what you leave. If we continue in that vein, Antarctica will retain that primordial experience for many, many years to come.